Welcome everyone. This is the Uncommon Ground YouTube channel where we are indoctrinating the masses every single day. And today I'm going to be laying out my plans for 2021. Um, there's basically going to be 3 points. One, I want to create little 10-minute segments every single day to give you something to chew on. Hopefully it'll be very unstructured, this little 10-minute segment, 7 days a week. It might be news, it might be just commenting on something that's been going on recently, it might just be bringing up sort of a random policy point, whatever. But it's going to be unstructured, just 10 minutes a day, just a little video. Second, I'm going to continue the Uncommon Ground podcast series, which is more policy focused and a little bit, it's going to be more long form and focused. I'll have to go more in depth into certain things and lay out sort of the structure of things. Certain topics like the economy or systemic racism just take a long time in order to properly articulate. So 10 minutes just won't be enough. But yeah, I'm going to continue with that too. And yeah, hopefully it'll be good. I would like your guys' feedback in terms of things that I should be covering or the discussions you guys want to be having here or anything like that, really. I want to try to create content that people want to see. So if you have anything to tell me, if you have any feedback, please reach out to me at modernmoderatenews@gmail.com. I'll get back to you, and if there's anything related to making content and any good suggestions come up, I'll do it. I've already done it before. The what did Trump do, or did Trump deliver for the Black/African American community or the Hispanic/Latino community? I did a couple videos on that in response to someone in my life asking me to make a video about that. They didn't even ask me about that necessarily. They just asked me about a video, and that created the spark that allowed me to look up the data and then bring up and lay out kind of comparing Bush, Clinton, Obama, and Trump, whether or not Trump had economically delivered in other ways for those people. So I would love to do that going forward. So any questions you have, any suggestions, in all likelihood I will make a video about them, because at this point I haven't made a whole lot of content. So I'd like this to become a back and forth thing going forward. It would help me tremendously. And I have a lot to say, so it would help you learn a lot more about politics, broaden your worldview, and get in tune with a little bit deeper truths. A lot of people, what people need to understand is that every single side in politics has something good to say. It's just that they're not always that good at saying it, or there's nuance to the issue. There's more wrinkles to be shown that are relevant. And in some cases, just everyone's wrong, in my opinion. Just because they haven't actually taken the issue seriously enough, and I don't blame them. It's very difficult. Very, very difficult to think about all these kinds of issues. I just so happen to be the kind of person that gets lasered in on them, and until I've solved it for myself, I'm not satisfied. And if I think I can find a chink in the armor of an idea, or if I can get underneath it and show how it's limited or shallower in some way, that I get off on that. I really like to try to attack ideas, mainly for my own satisfaction. I never liked the idea of settling for the fact that I didn't know what I was talking about, but I knew enough to sort of say a few things in a conversation, or sound intelligent in a conversation. I never cared about any of that. I wanted to understand politics, and understanding politics and desiring to understand politics means that you give up a certain amount of your preference about the world up front, and you just try to take it as it is. And very few people actually do that. Most people have baggage going in, or refuse to give up their baggage as they accumulate it in their political journey. Most people get stuck in Democrats are evil, Republicans are evil, Democrats are saints, Republicans are saints, libertarians are actually where it's all at. And I honestly, within a couple years of being into politics, I blew past all three of those. I realized very quickly that both sides were very hypocritical, Democrats and Republicans, about freedom and valuing freedom. They only valued freedom in doing drugs or being gay married, but they didn't care about your economics at all, or whether or not, or the fact that you work hard for 50 years to build a business. They didn't give two shits about that at all. And then on the other side, the same thing. Like, you gotta have your guns, you gotta have your freedoms. This is Texas or America or whatever, all that crap. But then you want to smoke some pot? Oh shit! You're a danger to society, and some criminal, some dirty criminal who deserves to get thrown in a cage and have your life turned upside down and have thousands of dollars of your money stolen from you by the state because you smoke some weed. Now, does that sound freedom oriented to you? No, obviously it does not. But then you get to the libertarians and then you realize limited government and freedom aren't the answers to everything. There's a lot more complexity in the world. So I am a believer in the left and the right in the sense that they are two halves of a whole that we need to be trying to figure out. But I do not believe that they hold all the answers themselves, that they ever will, and that getting attached to Republicans or Democrats or libertarians, it's a bad idea across the board. Just flat out, always a bad idea. Because you can never defend all libertarians. You can never defend all Republicans. You can never defend all Democrats. And within all those parties, people disagree on stuff left and right like crazy. Including the Libertarian Party, they disagree about abortion. It's pretty much like, again, where your values lie, that determines what kind of freedom you value. And people don't even think about that. Like, freedom isn't an obvious thing. You have to have a sophisticated view of what freedom is. Anyways, so yeah, you got to try to get past all those tribal things and just try to get to understanding. I want to do the 10-minute segments. I'm going to do the podcasts. I want to do this back and forth so that we can find understanding in politics, and I could try to grow myself as well. And any time I've dived into something new, I get something new out of it more often than not. It might be a little thing, it might be a big thing, it might be that the entire thing I'm dealing with is this thing that is not a part of my worldview already, so I have to figure out how to absorb it into my worldview and integrate it. So 10 minutes, hour-long podcasts. I want the back and forth. I'll even do live Ask Me Anythings or Q&As once we have enough people to where that'll be remotely interesting. And lastly, and then most importantly for this year, I am going to be publishing my book this year. It is done. It just requires editing and tweaking, and unfortunately, I am way too slow with that kind of stuff, but I'm closing in, and within the first quarter of this year, I expect to have that book published and available for purchase, as well as the ebook and as well as an audiobook. The audiobook and the physical book will come after an ebook, because the ebook is the easiest thing to do. But it's all coming, and it will be the answers. That's the easiest way I can explain it. It's me having worked hard for 9 years trying to understand politics and trying to encapsulate it, and I'm still learning. There's always going to be a new wrinkle, but I'm at a stage now with this thing where this book needs to be out there and be available so that all of you out there, so that all Americans and people across the world out there can level up their political conversation game, so that we can get to the real meat and potatoes of these issues. What people don't understand is that we are intentionally deceived by our institutions. We are intentionally turned more tribal, which on top of our natural tribalism is what is making us more and more polarized as time goes on. They try to keep us from focusing on the real core issues of policy. They want us arguing over this little thing here, over this little thing here. And if you don't understand it, and anytime you try to have a political conversation, it gets blown up or becomes emotional, or it's this stressful thing, you're not going to keep diving deeper and deeper into it. Unless you're a weirdo like me. So, I don't blame anyone. I'm just here to help. I genuinely just want to help. 2021 is going to be the year where moderates in America wake up and start actually taking action and creating the world that we want. A world where everyone's peaceful and calm and free and decently prosperous. All right. I hope you have an excellent year. March on, soldier.